obviously we had Moist Critical on last episode, internet legend. Awesome, right? Now you're here.
Fuck you, bro. I didn't even come here.
Okay, can you walk me through the entire...
Okay, why do you say that though? Why do you think he's an internet legend and I'm not?
So why do I think Moist Critical is an internet legend?
Yeah.
Great question. He is the embodiment of, if you want to keep in touch with what's going on in the internet, you want it from an unbiased source, you go to Moist Critical. When I'm eating food, when I'm eating tacos, and there's new drama on the internet this week, I'm going to watch Moist Critical every fucking time. It's either that or fucking Keemstar, right? And Moist Critical is the Keemstar that people don't hate.
So drama farming is what qualifies...
Drama farming? What do you mean?
That's what you said. So like drama, that's what qualifies a legend?
No, so giving unbiased commentary on drama, keeping people up to date on drama, yeah, that would make you...
What do you mean unbiased?
That would make
all commentary is biased. It's literally impossible to be an unbiased commentator.
So, I mean, what are we doing? Are we doing an English discussion here? I mean, yeah, everybody has bias, but what I mean by this is you're getting like actual research takes is what I mean, right? Like, are you familiar with like Your Age? You know who that is?
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Like he does the same thing. Like all of his takes are like researched, right?
So by unbiased, you mean research?
I mean researched. Yeah, I mean researched, and you're not like listening to any parties. You're not listening to your chat. You're not listening to your fucking YouTube comments. You're saying what you actually think, and you don't care what like the result is in a YouTube comment, right?
Okay, are you saying that that's what I do?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I said we had Moist Critical. Now you're here, right?
Yeah.
You guys obviously had beef last year. So can you? I don't even know how we got into that discourse, but can you walk me through the entire thing there?
Well, yeah. See, that's where I disagree. Like the whole beef started because he was calling out my friend Fresh, saying that he was a liar, which like that was not researched. Like he didn't actually look into why he called him a liar. So I mean, that's a good example of like, you know, just not doing research and not looking into what you're saying and following what the internet trends were. You know, it's easy to make fun of the red pillars. When you come from like I could say like the normie land, it's easy to make fun of like the more fringe or niche parts of the internet, like the red pill people, and say like, oh, these guys are grifters, like fake alpha males. Like, I get that all the time. They say fake alpha male. I've never called myself an alpha male. They say that about my friends Fresh and Fit all the time too. And I think that's because I actually think that Moist Critical, for example, I think he goes exactly by what the comment section says. I think he tries to follow what's trendy. I think he tries to follow what the masses are going to say and what they're already going to agree with, because that's what's going to get the most amount of views. And it's not going to it's not going to change anybody's mind. It's not going to like push the conversation forward. It's going to say what most people already want to hear, because you kind of want to mindlessly listen to something that you already agree with while you're eating food. And that's why like he was lying about my friends, and that's why I called him out for that. And then we started going back and forth.
So when you said he was lying about your friends, what did he say exactly?
My friend was telling a story about the girls that he's been with, and he's like, there's no way. He's just calling him a virgin.
Oh, I saw that video.
Yeah, and that was like a perfect example of somebody.
But you
who
don't
didn't
think
do
he
any
was
research.
just like being funny at all? Like you don't think he was just like, because dude, obviously, what's your friend's name? It's like Myron, right?
Yeah, Fresh and Myron.
Fresh and Myron. Obviously, those guys aren't virgins, right? Obviously. So when he's calling them virgins, you don't think he's just like being funny?
I mean, he went into pretty good detail about it, so it sounded like he genuinely believed that. And also, like the fake alpha male thing is a thing I don't like, especially when you're talking about the problems of dating right now in the West. I think it's important for people to have those discussions. When you try to like, you know, shove that to the side, oh, these fake alpha, oh, these gurus, I think that's not good for the discussion, especially when there's all these problems with dating.
Interesting. Okay. So then, what like jump started the entire beef?
It was that I called him out, and then like we had a disagreement about.
I thought it was about Cuties.
Yeah,
right?
we had a disagreement about the movie Cuties. Yeah.
And what was like the disagreement?
Yeah, I also think that was a good example of like not researching the topic at all. Because like the reason that I was defending the movie Cuties, obviously there's things in there that's not good and they were kind of gross. But I think the director made a mistake. She's like a young girl, and I think she was trying to show her experience growing up as a Muslim and then being indoctrinated by Western culture and by social media. And then in the end of the movie, the girl ends up coming back to Islam, which I think was an important part of the movie. And I think it had a good moral, but I think it was also diluted by like, you know, scenes that were gross, which were supposed to be gross, but they probably didn't need to be depicted. So I think he could have looked into the intention of the movie more. I think instead, that was a perfect example, like, and why I don't like his content is because he'll see internet outrage and they'd be like, oh, I got one. And then just repeat what everybody else is saying because he knows it's going to get views and because he's like, yeah, you said the thing we agree with. And then like everybody, like the mindless people will clap and agree.
Interesting. Okay, that's Interesting. Don't you think if...
Because he didn't, even in that video, he said he didn't watch the movie. How are you going to review a movie that you haven't seen?
I don't think that's what he said. I think
No, he did say that in the video.
I think he said he stopped watching the movie because...
So he didn't watch the movie?
No, he said he stopped watching the movie because it was sexualizing...
Yeah.
I don't think we can say that on YouTube. But yeah, I think that's why he stopped watching the movie, right? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, I know. But then you shouldn't give a movie review about something, a movie you haven't seen.
But I think that was his problem with it. I don't think the plot, and like you said, the plot is cool, right? The plot is like very like, you know, uplifting. But his problem was that they used young actresses because
that's bad.
Can a kid really consent to anything?
No, that's bad.
Kid really can't consent. If I don't think an 11-year-old kid should be in a movie in that nature, right?
No,
or like
absolutely not.
So you would agree with him on that?
That's my problem is like the drama YouTubers will just follow what everyone's outraged, but they're not seeing what the intention was. They're not seeing what the truth is.
But if everyone's outraged by it, don't you think it's probably correct if everyone is outraged by it?
Everybody's outraged about about how important the vaccine was, and look what happened. Everybody was outraged about January 6th, and then look what happened. You can't follow public outrage immediately because actually public outrage is wrong a lot of the time, especially recently.
I'm not saying to follow public outrage. That's not what I'm saying. If there is, 10 million people and 9.5 million people watch this movie, right? Or whatever, and they think, wow, I don't think they should have used younger actresses for that. Do you think they're right?
Yeah, of course they're right about that. But I think that when you are covering something or doing a review on something, you should be able to look at it and actually, you should watch the movie before reviewing it. I think that's that simple.
Got it. So you agree with him in the sense that they shouldn't have used young actresses?
100%, yeah.
Okay, and that was his main take, which was a valid take. You wish he watched the full movie, but he said he couldn't because it was using young actresses, which is a fair point.
Fair.
So then we progress into, let's talk about my clips. Let's talk about my clips.
Yeah.
So what was going through your head that night?
So I was just streaming, and I was going over the fact that like everybody that dislikes me, they have a certain archetype. They all kind of look the same. It's a lot of like, pasty people don't look like that. I'm not trying to be insulting, genuinely. It's a lot of pasty people that have long hair and they look like they sit inside all day.
Define pasty.
Like really pale. Like they look like they don't see the sun. Like just like it's the same look of the person every single time. I used to call it the soy boy collage, which I thought was funny because like there's a list of everybody that's made documentaries about me or that's made like hate videos on me, and they look identical. And so I was calling that out, and then he was streaming at the same time. He was like DMing me like, watch these clips. I thought this was funny. Like, oh, watch my clips, And he's like, oh, it's mags, not clips. But I'm from New York. Everybody says clips.
Okay.
It's like, you emptied a clip.
So do you think...
Unload the clip. It's the clip.
Yeah. Do you think you won this dispute?
I think that would have been different if I was on YouTube. If I had a YouTube channel, this is a good example of like being silenced. If I was on the same platform, it's like, bro, you can't win a beef on a platform that you're not on. That's a stupid. It's like showing up to a fight and you're not there. You're gonna lose that fight.
Okay. Okay. So you lost.
If it's an unfair fight, bro.
Okay.
It's an unfair fight.
All right. Cool. Well, yeah.